Well, Rosemary, you are not wrong. You're not wrong. There is a lighting delay. As you can see, Jacob has no camera. Jacob is here. We're on time, guys. We're on time. Unlike the Mexico United and Lexington SC on Sunday, we are here. We're on
Oh, that
time.
was
It
good.
is Tuesday.
That was good.
That was great. That was great. Chat, you guys are really set that up for me. This is phenomenal. Thank you guys so much for that. It's Tuesday. We're here. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. This is Jacob Terrell over in the dark. Christina may or may not be here. We had a guest lined up for tonight, but Jeremiah cannot make it. So we will be having Jeremiah on within the next couple of weeks. Jeremiah will be back, we promise. But guys, we are United Front. We have a buku of things to talk about this week. There is club news, there is stadium news, there is playoff implications. There's all kinds of stuff going on. Christina, are you good? Yep. All right, perfect. We'll add Christina in. There she is. So Jacob, you're in the dark. Christina is with us. I know we were texting some during the match on Sunday, so I want to find out, are you guys okay? Did anyone get rained out? Did anyone get flooded? Did anyone have some lightning in their areas? Like, are we good? Are we all here? Any problems?
All safe and sound. I was able to enjoy the lightning for its beautiful aesthetic and not be impacted by it too much.
Jacob, did you guys get any weather out that way or no?
No, not like you guys. We've had a crap ton of rain all year, and we had a couple storms over the weekend in the middle of the night, but nothing crazy. The well on the east side of my state park went out a couple weeks ago because it got struck by lightning, but as far as this weekend is concerned, no, we're all good. And 6 points in a week. That's all I care about.
Yeah, I know. That's right. 6 points a week. Andrew, I'm very curious. What happened with the cookie?
Sounds eventful.
What channel is the lightning on? There is no lightning on this channel, at least not currently. I think I might have a die-cast Lightning McQueen back in my kid's room somewhere. But yeah,
speaking of that, you know what gets me every dang time? The damn reels that are like, watch this deer get struck by lightning. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then chow, and freaking Lightning McQueen rolls by. Pisses me off every time, and I fall for it every time.
I've seen
probably
those.
Says way more about me than anything else.
No, I see them. I get it because it's one of those things. I've mentioned it before. There's a subreddit. It's called Nature is Fucking Lit, and I've actually made posts on there in the past because there was a video that popped up a couple of years ago of a storm system moving over like Rio Rancho. And it's like a camera, and I posted the video, and like it did pretty well. But no, seeing those videos, this is cool. Like lightning strikes are cool. But no, I get it. I've watched them as well, and I've kind of recognized them now. Anytime I see that, I'm like, okay, I know what it's going to be, but I'm going to watch it anyway. So, but yeah, guys, we're here. We are here. This recommendation algorithm think you're Joe Rogan? No.
So,
nope.
So back to the cookie thing for a second.
Yeah.
Real quick. If the cookie was that raspberry white chocolate one from, I can't remember the name of the thing, that I tossed out a couple weeks ago at the game, those things are worth biting a hand off. I'm not gonna lie. They are delicious.
Cookie throw. I hit the cookie down from the air. Bolty went to get it off the ground, and this kid came flying in. Feral AF.
Fair.
Okay.
Nothing ever
Perfectly
reaches
fair.
club level,
Perfectly
so
fair.
I may never know.
Yeah, Liam was getting some shit on Sunday for not getting the t-shirts over the netting. So
My mom was telling me that, and then she said one of the ball kids tried to throw it and made it like maybe halfway up the net.
Yeah,
it was pretty cute.
Yeah, that it was. Better be some good cookies. Jacob, what are these cookies? Why are they so good? I know I saw the ad on the video board, but I don't know. I don't remember who they were.
It's like Snuggle Bear cookies or something like that. I don't remember. They had them at the state fair
Snuggle
too.
Cub.
Snuggle Cub, yeah.
Snuggle Cub? Is that it?
Sure. Yeah. That's it. I might lose you for a second, so just be forewarned. But when I
Double
one
cup.
of the last, one of the last times I was at, they were like, "Hey, on the field," and I said, "Sure." They kept going for me.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that when he was
yeah.
down on the field, somebody offered him one of the cookies and he obliged, gave it a taste.
I pulled up their website. These cookies look delicious. Yeah. Here, I'm gonna share this here real quick.
Cat's out of the bag. Jacob's really AI. Sorry, guys.
Yep, clearly.
Keep
So
one for
let's
myself.
show this. Snuggle Cubs cookies. Yeah, those look phenomenal. Smoked peanut butter s'mores with beef jerky.
Oh, interesting.
The Cimarron cinnamon whiskey snickerdoodle. And raspberry, lavender, and white chocolate.
That's the
I'd
one.
probably go with the
That's the one.
raspberry one myself.
That's the one.
The
that
raspberry,
they,
lavender, white chocolate. Okay.
It's United branded. That's the one they do. It's delicious. I will get you guys some. I will buy you guys some.
Okay. Apparently, a place to buy them is Total Wine. I mean, wine and cookies. I mean, I don't know. I will say my fiance made some phenomenal cookies while she was here last week as well, with molasses and I don't know what else was in them, but they were really good. And my son and I killed them off last night. So, very, very good cookies. My fiance is a fantastic baker. So, but yeah, if these cookies are as good as you say they are, then maybe they are worth fighting a hand off. I don't know, but I'll have to try it.
100%. Well, and I say that my wife hated it. My wife did not like that cookie whatsoever, but I loved it. So, so you guys ought to be the judge for yourself. But they were good. They were good.
We can certainly do that. All right, guys, we've got a little bit of news this week. Let's start, and we'll get to the games. We'll get to all that, I promise. Stadium news. Peter Trevisani has done a couple of interviews this week. He told the Journal that he hopes the soccer stadium is built by 2029. Work is ongoing out at Balloon Fiesta Park. There is obviously not stadium ready yet. Apparently, the club has signed a new lease with the Isotopes to last, I believe, until 2029. So, yeah. In this article, it is over on the Journal. I believe it was not written by Ken. It was written by Gregory Hassman. The Pete goes on to talk about the potential for a modular stadium. Obviously, the club wants to be cost effective, if at all possible. And we've seen some modular stadiums, popping up here and there. We know Phoenix Rising has one. What do you guys think about a modular stadium instead of a solid, in place, firm seated stadium?
I feel like if we were talking a timeline, 2027 season, maybe I could say, okay, I get it, but 2029 and modular, woof. That's I don't know. I feel like I've got some not panic button going off, but like some red flags maybe.
Okay, I mean, I can certainly see where you're coming from. Obviously, the timeline that we've all thought was going to happen, that we've all kind of heard, was potentially 2027, but we're not there. And if Pete's saying 2029, and we're now, and the renderings we've seen, again, they're just renderings, but now we're talking modular. I mean, I get it. It allows for room for growth, maybe bring in extra seating for different events and things like that. So I can see the positives of modular, but at the same time, it also has this feeling of non-permanence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say the club isn't committed, because they certainly are. They're certainly committed to bringing a stadium. They're committed to bringing a quality product and bringing a women's team. which we know Pete has talked about. He mentions that in this article as well. I mean, Jacob, is there anything to be concerned about with here? Like Christina and I seem to think there is.
Oh, let me be the voice of reason, as always. We know that the long-term goal is art and sport in a permanent home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We are now in year 7. When we joined the league, you had 3 years to get a stadium. That was what was told to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in year 7. So well past that. Now, COVID changed some things there because COVID changed a lot of things. But I don't think this changes the long-term goal necessarily. I think all this is like, hey, we have been trying for several years now to get this done. We know we wanted this and we still want this, but we need to get something over the line. We need to get something done. If it's stadium,
I'm guessing he's saying.
I know what the goals.
Oh, there you're back.
I love the Christina guessing. I heard it earlier too.
I think I know
Christina
where you're
being
going.
My voice is perfect. Basically, to sum it up, I want a stadium that's ours. I know the long-term goal is art and sport being combined into a beautiful stadium. I believe that's where we will eventually get to. This is a temporary thing as we work towards a more permanent thing. And so it's not ideal, but I'm not concerned about it. And at this point, I just want something to call our own.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's modular for 5-10 years, so be it. As long as we can have a stadium of our own where we can put on events that we want to put on, we can have a schedule that we control and not Isotopes control. And then if that takes 5 years of being in a modular stadium while we figure everything else out, it'll just make the eventual permanent home, when we do get that much sweeter. And we'll at least kind of know what life will be like when we have that, because we'll be able to control our own things instead of being at everybody else's whim.
How you doing, Harry? Glad to see you. So the only concern I have about that though is if you put in a modular stadium, and Harry, this is something I talked about as being a positive. You can add additional seating, things like that. Where then do you go for a permanent stadium? Like, does the club then go away for a year and play somewhere else, or do a tour like they do with the academy, while a more permanent solution is put into place? I mean, again, there's positives to modular there, and I get where people, and again, it does give it a feeling of non-permanence, but I don't know. I don't know that you build the modular and then use that as a temporary home,
Maybe I need more education on what Pete means by modular. I mean, Harry says modular stadiums could be made really nice. I guess I'm picturing, I don't know, like Phoenixes that I've heard pretty bad things about. I feel like Austin FC, when I went out there, the one game we had before all the COVID shut down, I think theirs was maybe modular. I agree with what some people are saying about not wanting it all to be benches and having seat backs,
Oh, yeah.
chair backs.
Yeah, I think Pete and them. I think Pete and the club have heard people on that. Like, no one wants bench seating.
Justin, I was actually envisioning kind of the same thing. Like, well, the Green Jeans place is pretty cool, and it's modular. So maybe with some Meow Wolf artist creativity,
Yeah,
we
I mean,
can embrace this. And
you could use the cargo containers and use that, and you could obviously, bring in Meow Wolf folks and do it up. I mean, yeah, you could do something with that, but I mean, Andrew, I'm not suggesting the club's going on hiatus. I'm suggesting that if they did build the modular and then go to something more permanent, either playing back at the lab for a year or playing out in Rio Rancho at the high school, or touring the state. That's what I'm saying, and not going on hiatus. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Maybe it's a partially modular stadium,
yeah,
like
with
have
some
a
berm,
yeah
our own style
something.
of berm, the
Yeah.
standing supporter section. Um, Austin Bolt Stadium, I feel like I remember it having chairbacks, and it was a nice stadium. I remember they had great prices on their beer.
Yeah, and I get this sentiment too. Like, is that the only way it gets done by 2029? I mean, supposedly we're on the absolute last legal challenge now. I mean, if that gets resolved, I mean, there's no reason you couldn't have a physical stadium done. And I think this is part of it too. Pete does mention being more cost effective, right? So maybe they
Yeah.
overshot with where they want it to be and where they think the money is going to be.
Or the
I know
price
they,
of things. And
yeah,
my mom's right. Price of construction right now is
yeah,
scary. And who knows what it's going to look like in, next year or the next few years.
yeah. That could absolutely be a thing as well. And you see there are other announcements around the league. Stadiums being, brought up and being, construction deals, and Reno's back. Reno is back with a stadium agreement or a land agreement. And we'll, Reno's not the only one that's coming back. Cosmos are back now too. I think Reno is just the most recent one, and then you have other announcements as well. But yeah, I mean, if why 2029 if you're going to be modular? Like, are we expecting even more issues to delay the stadium between now and then?
Well, you also have to remember that the site that we're building on it's not up to us when it gets done.
Correct.
It is up to the city of Albuquerque, and that is a process that I know for a fact can take a long time. And so it could be a combination of cost and stuff like that. And then as far as the timeline, I could imagine that I could see a world where it's because of the city and not our doing.
Well, I mean, construction is already underway. They're already doing things, and the article mentions that they are going to have to build like retaining walls and finish out the site pad and do other things. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of infrastructure that has to go into it. UNM is still dealing with infrastructure issues. I mean, there were reports of people not using facilities during the Rio Grande rivalry on Saturday. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah, apparently the southwestern corner have became a makeshift toilet.
Oh gosh.
Something was not, according to the AD of UNM, some of the facilities were not working appropriately, and they're trying to get them fixed. But yeah, people were making use of the south one of the southern corners of the state of the facility. So obviously UNM doesn't have it 100% figured out, and yes, cost is going to be a concern. But we're now here 3 months to the end of 2025. If you can't get a stadium constructed in 3 years, 3.5 years, basically, I don't know. I think that's grounds for concern if you're suddenly going, okay, no, modular 3.5 years from now.
Maybe they decided, well, we're this far out. May as well just wait till the 10-year anniversary of the club's debut. Make it real big.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, Bolty. Fair enough. Here's the thing: if the city and United wanted the stadium to be built, we would have it before the 2027 season. I don't think it's a matter of them not wanting to have it built. I think Pete would have loved to have had this thing built, a year and a half ago, at least under construction a year and a half ago, because this was not the plan. Going into 2026 was certainly not the plan. And the league has mandated that everyone has to have a soccer-specific stadium by 2026. And yes, we have been given leeway. And to be fair, we've actually had movement, whereas little brother down south still has no stadium announcement. So, I mean, things are still moving in the right direction, but are we diverting from the right path? So, I mean, I think they're valid concerns. Obviously, nobody expected this level of legal pushback. Nobody expected, COVID and rising costs and tariffs and, all sorts of other factors that have gone into it. Is there any chance of a change in location of the stadium that has not been announced? No, they are dead set on this at this point. They've signed the lease with the city. I don't see it changing at all. So maybe they've shown enough to USL that they're keeping their pass without making an announcement. I don't know. I really don't know. But
it's a mystery.
I mean, again, when you have clubs like Reno coming back from death, announcing, "Hey, we have land. We're building a stadium."
Who was the other club that you mentioned? The Stars?
Cosmos are back.
Oh, Cosmos. Who are they?
New York Cosmos.
Oh.
Yeah, they're back. Reno is back with new ownership. There have been several announcements with clubs coming back or popping up.
And, are they back?
Supposedly. Supposedly OKC is back. So I mean, and then the league put out an announcement this week, a massive new infusion of cash from a new investor. So the league feels like it's on more stable footing. The league feels like it's getting more to that point of like, okay, here are our 20 or 30 teams that we're going to move forward with at the championship level. You've got Lou City being the first officially announced club to apply for Division I status within the USL. We still don't have a plan for that. So as a whole, things feel like it's getting better. It feels more stable. But I think there's still a lot of things up in the air when it comes to individual clubs, and not so much the league level, but the individual clubs that we may see more bad before all this good that we want. And we're expecting to see happen by 2028? So, we keep seeing these articles and interviews. Oh, they're working with PLS and all these things to try to get things situated to where we can have Division I sanctioning. I just, and as much as I want these things, I just don't know if there's enough movement fast enough. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm expecting too much too soon, but I don't know. I don't know where to go with this. Need a season where no clubs leave or we can move forward. I don't disagree with that. I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I mean, once you stop the hemorrhage, then I think that definitely is a sign of more, again, permanence. So, like Jacob said, take what I can get. A place to play for just us is always welcome, but I would really hope for something nice and more permanent. I don't think Josh is wrong. So I don't know. I look at all of that, and then the other big league news that came out this week. CBA. This is potentially an issue. Apparently, according to USL Players Association and a number of other players reposting what was on USL Players social media, there has been no movement towards a new CBA. The current collective bargaining agreement is set to expire at the end of the league year, and the players are calling for fans to block the league on social media. Now, I want to present this to you, Christina, and to everyone in the chat as well, because I know you guys are going to have some thoughts on this as well. I believe that they are going to get a CBA done. I think you have to. MLS struggled with theirs early on. We struggled getting one in, and now we have it. And now you're in the process of renegotiating it. I do not think the Players Association is handling it correctly by telling fans and leagues and the league to block the league itself on social media. That is not going to send a message to the league, because what's that going to accomplish? If you want to go out and post, hey, there's been no movement, we're no closer to a new agreement than we were, a month ago, 2 months ago, I think you're fine doing that. But blocking and telling people to block the league is not going to accomplish anything, because the league's not going to know.
Well, maybe what they're looking for is less engagement from fans, so that they can say, look, the fans are here for the players and the teams, not for the league itself or admin, just to maybe hold their feet to the fire a little bit.
Maybe, but realistically, the reach that the individual players are going to have, like, I know Sergio reposted it. I don't know if Sergio is our delegate to the Players Association. I don't believe he is. And Sergio has a decent following on social media. I think if someone like Bees were still with the club and he was to speak out on it, I think that would garner a little bit more attention than Sergio or some of these other players. Justin actually does send a message. Look what happened with Club World Cup and MLS player compensation. Emma.
Jacob's just full of surprises tonight.
Yeah, that is. Everything that happened with Club World Cup and MLS and Campeones Cup and CONCACAF Champions, that's all MLS's own doing. Like, that's a whole other thing. Do players deserve to be compensated? Yes. But at this level, I don't think asking fans to block the league is going to have the impact that even MLS would. Because unless you start seeing the significant voices blocking the league, and realistically, who's that going to be? Us? I'm not going to block the league on any of our social media, because, hey, that's where we get our news. Right? That's where we get our stuff from. So we're not going to block the league. Do they need to come to the negotiating table? Absolutely. But as us as a group, with where we get our news and where we create our content from, and me as a fan, I'm not going to block the league. I'm just not, because I want news. I want to see what's going on. So I think it has such a little impact, and I don't think it's the right way to approach it at this level. I mean, is there reason to be concerned about how the players are handling this? Is there a reason for Is there a reason to be concerned about how many fans or supporters might block it? Is there a reason to be concerned that we don't get a CBA before next season?
What say you, Jacob? I'm curious.
As somebody who has followed just about every conceivable professional league for 30 years now, this is par for the course. Like, there's always, now the social media thing is new, but I think it was Harry. I think in our group chat with Harry, he basically was like, this was expected, right? Like, show me in the history of sports when a CBA has come together without flaws or without disagreements. And so I'm not super concerned. I see where Seth's coming from. I see where Justin's coming from. I do think that the blocking on social media, if it's done by the fans and it makes an impact, and USL Championship social media admin sees what's going on and is like, okay, that is a pretty big number. Maybe there's something to it. On the flip side, though, I think if you're the players and you call for that and then nobody does it, you screwed yourself, right? Like, the league is now going to look at that and be like, well, nobody did it. Now, the league's not dumb enough to think, oh, well, nobody cares about the players because they didn't block us on social media, but it could backfire on them. I'm not super concerned about it either way. It kind of is what it is. It's a tactic that I think can work. I think that what's going to help the players is us supporting the league more than anything. And so it definitely could backfire, but if you block it for a month and USL takes notice and is like, oh, okay, that's fine. I mean, I personally could go in and block them on my personal pages or on one social media, whether it's Instagram, X, whatever, and maybe they'll see that number. But I don't know. At the end of the day, I think it gets done no matter what. I think this was a tactic that could be good, could be bad. I don't know. Time will tell. But at the end of the day, I'm not super concerned about any of that because, like I said, I would be very surprised with the momentum that the USL has and the talk about D1 and the sponsor that I don't know if was on your rundown or not, Seth, but there was a new big sponsor that came into USL. I don't know anything about it, but I just saw it when Seth texted to us earlier. And so with all this momentum going forward, I don't think the league is dumb enough to be like, no, we're going to make you guys hold out while we have all this positive momentum going into a World Cup year in America, going into possible D1 status, going into all this stuff. Concessions will be made on both sides and they will get it done before it becomes an issue.
Yeah, USL, I mentioned it earlier, Bell Tower Partners. Yeah. CEO Q Song Lee named vice chair. Yeah. So yeah, significant investment there.
Justin, are you asking why the player association will be pushing for the blocking of USL on social media? I think that's what you're asking. I think the answer there is they want something to be there, but no other CBA and no other players association in any other sport has called for this. So it might work, it might not. I think they're pushing. I think the reason they're pushing for it is because they think it can make a difference. Whether or not it can, I don't know. Yet to be seen.
Yeah, it's again. I'm not concerned that we don't get a deal. I'm not concerned about the league and the players, failing to get a deal done. I think they get it. And yeah, like you said, going the first work stoppage I ever remember was the MLB strike in what 93, 94.
Something like that.
And now you didn't have social media back then, but obviously there were bumps in the road before they even came to a deal. And you had the lockout for that year. NFL's had it, NBA's had it. They've had work stoppages, trying to figure out, rights, media share and all that types of things. And with social media being what it is, obviously you're going to try to get eyes on it. But again, it's how much of a reach is this really going to have? How much of an impact is it really going to have on the USL's, reach on social media? I don't think it's going to be enough for it to really impact anything. But I mean, I get it. I don't think it's going to have the impact that the Players Association thinks it is.
Again, I don't know about that. Like I know plenty of diehard fans that will do it, and on it, like I get the point that you made, Seth, but in all honesty, the news that I get from USL's social media is very subjective. It's player of the week, player of the month, power rankings. The only thing of value there is really the playoff race to the playoffs right now. And if you're a New Mexico United supporter, you're going to find that information out. If you're in New Mexico United Nation, if you follow us, if you watch the podcast or listen to the podcast. And so there's other ways for them to get their information. So I could see quite a few people doing it. I just don't know what the end game is. That's my only thing. But we're 40 minutes in and I feel like we're just talking about sad shit. And I don't understand.
Drama.
Yeah, it's drama. It's news. It's league news. So it's impactful, and it goes to what we talk about here on the show. So
at the end of the day, to me though, this and the stadium fall under the category of, is this news? Because there's just one, I trust that both things get done, and two, there's so much that can happen. Like with the stadium, there's so much that can happen between now and 3 months from now, let alone 3 years from now, where when I read the article on, I think it was KRQE that was kind of floating around on social media, it was like, yeah, they're working on the site. That was all I got out of it. Everything else was just fluff. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it is news. It's our job to talk about it. I get that. But at the same time, I would have been fine with burying it at the end of the show and talking about 6 points beforehand, because that to me is a way bigger story in the here and now.
Well, in that case, Jacob, we can end the show with happy news.
Oh, and we will. We will.
And
Real quick,
certainly will. Yeah.
Justin, yes, if the USL Twitter account saw its followers go down that much, they'll take notice. They're also taking notice right now. Like they know that the fans care about the players. Like I just think it's a bunch of fluff and nonsense in a lot of ways, but I hope it works out.
It seems like it would have been maybe more productive for the players to call on the fans who truly value their local teams and value them as players to reach out to the club or to the league and just inundate them with like, hey, like, do right by your players.
Yeah, instead
or maybe
of
someone could be
unfollowing,
like, hey, I want to come on your podcast and talk about the CBA.
Yeah.
Maybe then people would notice, right?
Yeah, Andrew's right. We're just more lightning delays.
No more delays, guys. I
like
promise. We after nearly 4 hours on Sunday. Good Lord. Yeah, 6 points. going all the way back to last Wednesday. United took on Colorado Springs up in Colorado Springs, walked away with a 2-1 win after coming from behind. Early goal. Why is that not kicking over? There it goes. Early goal surrendered, and then United really looked so much better after the first 10 minutes of this match on Wednesday. Marco Micheletto obviously getting pissed off throughout the evening. Was not playing his level best, let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't know how much any of us remember about Wednesday's match, but 4th of 5 matches in recent memory on CBS or CBS Sports Network. So if you could not find the match, not our fault. Don't yell at us. But yeah, here the opening goal by Colorado Springs, just really the cross here. Meg's Talon goes by Jalen, back post. You've got a couple different guys who could have stopped this one here. Shakes is covering the near post as he should, goes to make his rotation, and just doesn't get there. So I don't put that on Shakes. You had guys that could do that, but United answered. Oh, good Lord. Like, come on. Why are we doing that? Don't do that. It did not have ads, but yeah. So when you see United give up a goal that early, where are we at with our mindset on this? Obviously we've come off a decent run coming into it. Give up an early goal. What's your mindset watching it?
Christina, I'm gonna have you answer this one because I missed the first 50 minutes of this match. Wednesdays are not great for me with some other things I have going on. And so like this is my first time seeing this play.
I completely disagree with this here.
Yeah, no, that's a goal.
That
is 100%
that was a goal.
Yeah. But so what were first half thoughts, Christina?
I feel like their standard operating is to come out pretty decent, really pressing, really energetic. And then before the half, it fizzle out. And I feel like we just saw more of the same with that in Colorado. I feel like with the weather delay in so many games, it's a little hard to keep track of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it was Mike Watts and somebody else commentating, right?
Yeah, Enrique or something. Ricky Espen Lopez, I think.
I feel like I recall thinking to myself, it was kind of more of the same with some of the sloppy passing and just their style of play, the way they try to play it out the back and pass and pass and pass in the back right in front of the goal, which is adding gray hair and taking years from my life, I swear. And I remember thinking if we were playing against a better team, this would be not good.
Yeah. Oh, Chris Shakes there. Fantastic save on the penalty to keep United within
that
one.
Was amazing. And I feel like that's when things started to turn around again.
Mm-hmm.
Was with that. I mean, and again, I feel like, I don't know what it is, but it feels like they usually come out of the locker room pretty flat in second halves. I always feel nervous for the second halves, but Shakes saving that PK just ignited them, and then just to see the way that the game ended, and it was
counterattack.
My takeaway from this was the confidence that the squad got, and I really loved seeing at the very end the feed stayed on the team on United, and seeing them all huddled together and all like laughing and smiling. Even Sanchez was in the mix, like laughing and smiling with them. And then I think it was Pondeka that came in, and they all kind of like riled him and like poured water on him. And it was just cool to see that camaraderie, and that's what I've been like yearning to see and wanting to see, even more so than the results on the field. I just want to see a squad who's united,
Mhm.
and that there's like good energy, and that they are confident, and that there's good relationships between the players and the technical support and the staff coaches.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. And you watch the way the guys played, particularly in the second half against Colorado. And like I said, I will say I think it started earlier than that, but they really did look confident. And maybe it was that save by Shakes, and speaking of yearning to see things, we saw a video from the locker room
Yeah.
that was not released by the club. If you guys didn't see this, Christina sent, I think you sent
Well, so it wasn't at first. It wasn't released by the club. It
Yeah.
was I just happened to follow one of the photographer videographers, and so
Mhm.
saw, I think he posted it to his story, and I shared it to you guys, and then it disappeared. But then the club did share it.
Okay. Yeah, it didn't come out. We finally got to see some piece of a halftime speech from Dennis, and so maybe it's not as flat as some people thought it might be, right? It's good to see him have some fire and use some colorful language and try to get people going. But yeah, you watch the guys here in this match, and Shakes again with a tremendous save. Shakes is the number. I don't think there should not be any more doubt in anyone's mind at this point. Shakes is the number one. If anyone's doubting that and asking where Alex is, Shakes is our number one. I don't think you can argue that at this point. But
Look at that.
Mogel
Outside the box.
Oh, what a shot. Like, good grief. And yeah, the traveling contingent to Colorado was great. The ball movement in the second half was really good. Jalen Lindsay coming in, making the steal.
Hustle from Lindsay. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh. And by the way, this goal is up for goal of the week. Go vote. Go vote. I do not want to see some run-of-the-mill Hartford goal win it. Like, go vote for that. Top bends from 21 yards, 22 yards. Go vote. Like, tremendous shot by Mogel. But yeah, I mean, United, we looked, we had energy. We looked good. It felt so much better than the Monterey match where everything just felt flat.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happened to that one Monterey match other than us playing down, but that's what you want to see. You want to see guys excited and shooting and taking chances and trying to make plays.
Mm-hmm. So Bolty's comment, the absence of information doesn't prove the non-existence of information. I just got to say, as fans, it just makes us a whole lot happier to get to see little glimpses of that. It's all PR, right? Like, give me the fluff. Let me drink a little of the Kool-Aid. You just, inject some confidence into the fan base. That's all I think we're asking for.
Yeah, don't disagree at all. Jacob, you said you got to watch the second half of Colorado. What did you think watching that on Wednesday?
I mean, I loved it, right? Like, I thought the ball movement, I didn't see the PK save. I think I came on sometime shortly after that, right before the first goal. And we just looked, like you guys have already said, we just looked like we were better. Like we looked more confident. We looked more energetic. The energy is the really thing. If I've ever critiqued the club for just about anything, especially in the younger days when I didn't know tactics as well as I do now, and I'm not by any means as an expert now, but I at least understand it better now. I couldn't critique tactics when Troy was the coach or that first year under Zach because I wasn't in the right spot to do that. And I still don't feel like I am because Sanchez knows more about soccer than he's forgotten more about soccer than I'll ever know. But effort wise, I would critique that all the time if I saw a lack of effort. And I think when we look at the Monterey match, an argument that we had, Seth, earlier in the season about trap games and stuff like that. I think that Monterey Bay match could be considered more of a trap game for sure than the Hartford match, because we've had a decent run of form going into the Monterey Bay match, and then we have two giant matchups of teams in the playoffs 3 days later and then 8 days later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I could definitely see that one being more of a trap game on the road on the West Coast in sunny California, going against a team that their run of form is really bad. Hartford's run of form, really remember, was trending in the right direction. Monterey Bay's has not. And so I could see when I watch the Monterey Bay match, and then I see how we play against Colorado Springs, and that's what the Monterey Bay match made sense in that context way more after seeing us actually fight and actually give effort and actually run and shoot the ball. I'm not as big of a shoot the ball from outside the box guy as Christina and Seth even, and a lot of other fans. I think it's a very low percentage shot. I think you do have to still shoot it occasionally to keep them honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a fine line between wasting possessions by taking a shot that has a very low percentage chance of going in. And in the case of Mogul Jr. and his goal, we see good movement. It's not really transition, but he clearly has a lane. There aren't as many bodies in the box. A lot of times when we're sitting here and we're yelling shoot, and I'm looking at the field, I'm like, okay,
you don't have
where do they
vision.
shoot? Like there's 17 bodies in the box.
Mm-hmm.
They can shoot all day. Yes, there's a chance it takes a massive deflection and goes in the back of the net, but more often than not, that's either going to be off frame, or if it is on frame, it's going to get blocked before it even gets to the keeper. So in this moment, this was a perfect kind of pick your spot to shoot that ball. There's another one. It wasn't outside the box, but the save that we saw the Springs keeper make on Akale just a few minutes before that. Those are both situations of like, yes, there are longer distance shots, but there's a shooting lane, and it fits kind of what the style, what play is happening right there. And so I was obviously thrilled that he took that shot because it went in the back of the net. But even just like the long shots that we did see were taken at the right time. It wasn't just to shoot. Right. The last thing I want to see is 25 shots and 4 on target, right? Mm-hmm. I'd rather see 10, 12 and 5 on target, or 6 on target, than 20 and 2 on target. And so I thought all around it was really good. Going back and watching highlights from the first half, seeing Shakes and what he did with that PK save. Even though Ryden's out, and even though Keller was out on Sunday, sorry. I don't feel nearly as nervous about the back as I did when Ryden went down the first time and we were scrambling to find somebody back there. Seymour I have all the faith in Seymour to be back there on that back line. Keller, when he's healthy, Maples, obviously. And Lindsay's really come on strong, man. Lindsay has not been my favorite player, much like Gloucester was last year, where I was kind of uninspired by him. I very much felt the same way about Lindsay this year. And much like Gloucester last year, towards the end of the year, he has really come on, and you see the disallowed goal that he should have been credited for. Mm-hmm. And then you see him, we lose the ball, and instead of going straight into defensive mode, he steps, he wins the ball back, he puts it in the box, and then we get the Carlos goal out of that. And so I'm seeing people find a groove that haven't been finding a groove. Even guys like Zelalem, who has had to step in the last 2 matches, like he's by no means lights out defensive midfielder, but he hasn't been nearly as bad as he was in the middle of the year. Same with Rivas, right? I've shit on Rivas for 5 years now, on and off. But when he does good and does good things, I am the first to be like, yeah, I'm eating my words. And in the last few matches, there's still been Rivas JPG moments out of him that have been frustrating, but he's done really well, all things considered. And I'm just excited after both matches. I'm kind of combining like taking big picture things out of both of them. Just the way we are all kind of finding a groove and coming together, as opposed to how we had been playing, obviously. But it just seems like everybody's getting a confidence now, which the San Antonio match, I said, when we got off the schneid there and we finally broke through and got a win, we had one win in 3 months in the league prior to this month, and we've had 4 wins this month alone. Once we got that first win against San Antonio at the beginning of the month, you could see the players' shoulders just like breathe, like they just felt looser. And they've had, the Tulsa match, the Monterey Bay match, which I think were both very winnable matches for us, and we could be even talking about an even better month. But at the same time, if you tell me we have 6 matches in a month, which is a lot of matches in a month, and we're going to walk away with 13 points out of those six matches with that kind of schedule congestion, I'm going to take that all day and twice on Sundays. And so just big picture wise, I am thrilled with what we have been seeing, even if it hasn't been perfect. And I think the fact that it hasn't been perfect makes me even more excited, because if we can continue to trend upward, we're at the point of the season now where you get hot now and you can ride that into the postseason. Unlike last year where we were struggling going in, I tell you, the difference, or the Tulsa this year to us last year, and us this year to Colorado Springs last year, there's a lot of similarities in there that I think, I'm not saying we're going to win the cup, but I'm just happy with where we're at, because I can see those through lines of both of those teams, and think that we're in a better spot this year to make a run than we were last year, as crazy as that sounds.
I seem to remember another team last year that won, I think it was like 5 of their last 10. And there seems to be some sort of strange connection between them and us. I mean, I don't know. Am I remembering correctly here, Jacob?
I think you're talking about Vegas. I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, Las Vegas. I think they won 5 of their last 10. And who is their coach?
Yeah.
Dennis Sanchez. So, I mean, yeah, obviously, you mentioned it, United is getting hot. A very good month of September. That's what Las Vegas did last year, and they rode it to the Western Conference Final. So, it's, again, confidence is a thing, and then you get into Sunday, and you hope the confidence is still there, and then we get an hour and 40-minute delay to even start the match on Sunday.
So full disclosure, I was working Sunday, right? And we're talking about the delay, and I'm like, when the game was going to start at 4, there was no way I could go. Mm-hmm. But when you announced that they were going to delay it, I was like, is it worth the drive? And I came this close to doing it. And had I done it, and then that last delay would have happened, I would have lost my mind. So
yeah, I was there, I don't know, 2:15, 2:30. I got to say, I was at the stadium for 7.5 hours on Sunday.
That's a work day right there, buddy.
Yeah. All for free.
Yeah, all for free. Yeah. So here's the lineup we saw on Sunday. Gideon Zelalem gets a start. Now, yes, he came on against Colorado on Wednesday. Space Kid showed up over in the Discord. I'm surprised he's not here tonight. And I made a comment. I said, hey, maybe I'd love to see maybe he gets a decent touch. And let's wait and see what happens with Slalom. You see, again, on Sunday, Kip Keller's out. We saw him go off against Colorado Springs with the injury. We know there's some concern there. I am really concerned, and I said it during Wednesday night's match. I said that's a hamstring. With how he was walking off and how he was holding the back of his leg, that's a hamstring.
Keller?
Kip Keller. Yep.
Yeah. He had it was a hamstring that bothered him when he came out of the match in San Antonio or against. No, it wasn't San Antonio. I was there, Detroit City. And so, that's what he has had an issue with all season before he even came here.
Yeah, he missed a significant amount of time this season with that hamstring. So and that's just one of those muscles where you can't. The only way for it to get better is to do nothing.
Rest.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, you can undergo surgery, but that's again, you don't want to go that far, right?
Well, and that depends on the severity of the injury. If it's just a little tweak, surgery doesn't do you anything, and you just have to rest. But
right, exactly. Again, Shake starting in goal. Ryden's out with an injury. Valentin Noel. I was surprised to see Valentin back in the 18.
Not only back in the 18, he freaking played.
He came on and played. I was not expecting him to play. I said, we've seen Ryden on the bench and not play due to injury. We've seen it, right? So I said, I'm not expecting Valentin to play. We projected him being, out 1 to 2 weeks, bare minimum, due to whatever happened, a couple weeks ago against Detroit. But Valentin's in the lineup. So okay, surely we're not going to see it. Ryden's in. He's still hurt. I said, so maybe we see Hoffman. Maybe Kyle Hoffman gets a few minutes. And then obviously Archimed and Among came together 2 weeks ago and they were both in concussion protocol. They were both cleared and ready to go. So them coming together and knocking heads, they're both perfectly fine. So you see this match, and this gets off to one of the better starts that we've seen all year. And you talk about guys who've been playing well and really coming out and stepping up. Dayon Harris has been very good. Marlon Vargas getting a start here. You see guys just performing and doing really well. I've been really impressed. You mentioned Jalen Lindsay. Lindsay's been doing well. Gloucester's doing well. Dayon's just been lights out since he came back from his injury. And
I didn't mention Dayon with those other with like Lindsay because it's not a situation where Dayon hasn't been performing
right
and then he's come on. Dayon's just freaking amazing. And we've all talked about those knee injuries and how they're like a 2-year thing and for like a 1 year to recover and then 1 year of playing to get your confidence back. And he just looks like freaking Dayon.
Yeah, that he does. But hour 40-minute delay, play finally gets going, and United just gets off. We get off to this really fast start. We're super aggressive, really crisp ball movement. You see us going over the top here, out to Gloucester, out to Dayon on the left. Sorry, and then this cross. And Gideon, he started slow, but Gideon looked good. But this ball here into Jalen, there's Jalen again, running all the way up from that fullback position, getting involved, squaring that ball back. Like
this might be my favorite goal of the season. Just from I think it's exactly how Sanchez wants us to be playing. It's exactly how we've been calling for us to play. It's not a shot from outside the box, but it's well worked. It's a great ball, great touches all the way around, and then beautiful finish by Vargas into a basically empty net. And I just loved everything about it. And then this is why you have Hurst, man. Hurst he's not a fantastic scorer. He's a fine scorer, but he's just smart. He plays the game the right way. He's in the right spots. And drawing that penalty, 100% a penalty, by the way.
That was
just fantastic. And then the fact that we have Maples here to be Maples, just you couldn't have asked for a better start. You could definitely have asked for a better finish, but you couldn't have asked for a better start.
And to beat Ketterer twice in 10 minutes. And Ketterer is a longtime
Who's
keeper.
that? Who?
That is
Yeah.
Penis Head
that?
Logan Ketterer.
Oh, penis head. Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Yes.
I haven't heard that one before. Nice.
Oh, yeah, that was
that was an Earl thing.
an early
That sounds like
early podcast version
Yeah.
of nicknames there.
But yeah, I mean, first half United looks really good. You're aggressive. You get forward. At one point, I posted a screenshot over in Discord. 2 shots, 2 on frame, 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
I said this, and it was like 70% possession in our favor. I said this looks promising. And
then
Well, and to be fair, as soon as that happened, well, one, there's the kind of joke about 2-0 is the most dangerous game or most dangerous scoreline in soccer, and there's some truth to that, and
Mhm.
and it's such human nature to shut off just a little bit when that happens,
Mhm.
and to go from that big of a high to having to play 90 more minutes, and then even with this one with another hour and a half long delay after it, like
It was longer than that.
it was 7:30. It was 2 hours, 120 minutes. But like I fully expected us to not be who we were the first 10 minutes for the rest of the 90 minutes.
Mhm.
And we had a couple spurts here and there where I was like, okay. But you're playing a team that is also fighting for home playoff spot. The West is a disaster, so they're going to continue to be fighting here and there. I didn't expect Lexington to just roll over, despite the fact that I don't think they're very good. And they didn't. And here we are. And we get, I still think is a valid red. Some might disagree, but this really kind of, I almost hated that this happened.
Mhm.
And I tell you why, because that if you think you get out to a 2-0 lead in the first 10 minutes and you're going to shut off, then you're going to be that. And then right before halftime, they're going to go down to 10 men. You're going to be shut off a little more. And so,
Yeah, so no, I agree, 100% red.
Josh just throwing out numbers, but
He is.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
he is. Yeah, obviously, Wu comes in, tries to make the tackle. There's a very, I you might get a very slight touch to the ball,
I don't think he does.
but it doesn't. Getting a touch to the ball doesn't matter. That really doesn't have any bearing on it. So I think he does get a touch, goes off Hurst's foot, but then you see him go into the leg, right? This is where the foul is,
And it's hard to fully tell, but it dang sure looks like he goes in, studs up.
Yes. Oh yeah, you can see the
It looks
the
like
sled.
it here, but this is blurry. You never can fully tell.
Yeah.
It looks like studs up. It looks like it could be a red for Dogzo or just violent conduct or whatever other words they choose
Serious
to
foul
use.
play.
Yeah. Could be either one. I think it qualifies technically as both, but just
So
hands down a red.
I'll look and see what they reported it as, but again, the league does not have a designation on their score pages for Dogso. It'll often say serious foul play, or professional foul, something along those lines, and it does say professional foul, but so but yes, no, so you go back, and I'll play it back here from this angle here. You see the run. He's clearly the last defender. Clearly. There's no one between him and the goal. Directionality, balls coming in towards the center. This is clear Dogso. So I'm assuming that's what it actually was reported as in the referees' scorecards and what went down in their report. But it's clear. It is absolutely clear. And yeah, whatever Devin Kerr, I wasn't listening to him. Clear foul, clear red card.
I like Devin, and his argument was control. control was the biggest Dogzo argument that he had, and he was, if you let it play, his argument was that Ketterer could come and get it. And when you look at it from way back there, Ketterer's backpedaling that whole time. He's not coming up to try to make a play on the ball. There's no way he gets to that. And so, it's clear to me that it's Dogzo. And I think if Devin goes back and looks at it again and thinks about it, he would agree. Devin, for all the shit that some fans do give him, some of it rightly, some of it wrongly, he said pumpernickel on the broadcast, and that was a word that I gave him to say. So he's good in my books.
Okay.
During the last weather delay, he asked for words that he would have to sneak in when they came back for 8 minutes. And so I said pumpernickel, and he managed to work it in. Somebody else said boondoggle. He managed to work it in. So, consummate professional that Devin Kerr is.
Yeah, so criteria, number of defenders, distance to goal, distance to ball, and direction of play. So again, it meets all the criteria for Dogzo.
I feel like it's a disservice to this team to go a man up. We don't play well when we're a man up.
No. Yeah, and here in the second half, we did not look great. Again, it looked like we took our foot off the gas. We gave them opportunities to get back into the match. Obviously, you see them score the goal here. I think it was just before. So, according to the laws, a match is considered official at 65 minutes. So, after the 65th minute, match can be declared as official should there need to be a stoppage or the match being abandoned. But this here, it's just good shot. It's in. Not much you're going to do about that, going across goal into that far net. And Epps has been a pain in our ass for years.
No, he hasn't. Epps has never been good against anybody that I see. I was 1,000% shocked that this was on frame, because 9 times out of 10, if I see Epps shoot the ball, it's a freaking moon ball. And so I was blown away that he made it. It was a nice goal. I'll give him credit for that, but no, he maybe scored against us once or twice. I don't think he has. And that doesn't necessarily mean he can't be a pain in the ass in other ways, but I've said multiple times on this podcast that Epps is meh to me. And so I was mainly surprised that he made it more than anything.
Yeah, so goal goes in, but again, United just looks. Again, we look like we've taken our foot off the gas here, and I don't know what happened. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. And again, here you get a chance to save by Shakes. Shakes was big in this one too, coming up with a couple saves here in the second half, and I don't know. Again, we've come so close to complete matches on multiple occasions. We just can't seem to get a full, I say full 80, say a full 80. It's hard for us to even get a full 80 minutes. And it doesn't show it here. They cut. So in the stadium, they stopped the clock at 89 minutes and 28 seconds to go to the second delay. I was trying my best to keep people updated on social medias, on Discord, on Reddit, on everywhere. And I was also because 1017 made the decision to stay with United and not go to the Cowboy game. Despite the delays, United did not. We did not go to the Cowboy game, so I was updating about the Cowboy scores too. I was very, very busy. But yes, we're trying to figure out. So officially, and I asked Nick Murray this too, the delay has to be 3 hours before they can make a decision whether or not to abandon the game or call the game. The Lexington coach was complaining, saying that there should have been more stoppage time in this match, which I completely disagree with. There should not have been. So after the break, so the play gets stopped at, I think it was like 7:36 is officially what it was. Players go off the pitch. Again, I'm thinking, okay, 90 minutes. We've got weather in the area. We had gotten an alert minutes earlier saying that there was lightning close and they were monitoring it. And then I'm thinking, okay, it's 2-1, 90 minutes. Surely they're not going to bring them back out. And then the rain starts. And I felt so bad for the United staff members. They did tarp pulls on Friday, Saturday, and multiple tarp pulls on Sunday to keep that pitch in the condition that it was in. And I felt really bad for them. There was one staff member who was down there in high heel boots doing a tarp pull. Yeah. So players go off. They come back out and and I was asked not to say anything. We get a heads up shortly after 9 that the players are going to come back out at 9:12 to do a 10-minute warm up. And as the play was restarting, they did not know how much stoppage time there was going to be. So they came back out, they played 32 seconds of regulation, and then played 8 minutes of stoppage time. Yeah. They would have had to have waited till 10:30 to make a decision on whether or not to call that match if the weather had persisted. I mean, I think something needs to change there from a player safety perspective, from a fan safety perspective. Now, the club did pretty good at, telling people get out of the stands, get under cover. And I know people kept asking for updates. There's only so much you can do. When that second stoppage hit, I can tell you all we were told for a significant period of time was, we don't know. We just don't know. I was updating whenever there is a lightning strike within distance, because if there's a lightning strike within, I believe it's 8 miles,
I think it's
you have to stop play for 30 minutes. So there was a 8.8 miles, and they kept it. We were still going.
Restarted.
No, at that point it was still playing.
Oh, okay.
But once it got under that, I think, like I said, I think it's 8 miles. They stop play, and every lightning strike that's still within that radius resets that timer back to 30 minutes. And so I get that people are getting frustrated, but there's only so much we can do. So I've tried. I did my best to keep as many people updated as I could. But I was amazed that this was allowed to continue. And you could see it once players came back on the pitch. And I know there were issues with the TV broadcast staying on poker for some people. We were getting reports of it being on that, and then the radio station finally switched over to Cowboys, and the Cowboys. Anyway, players were slipping and sliding on the pitch in those final 10 minutes that they were out there. Like, I think there needs to be some sort of change made to inclement weather decision making. That's not the club level. That's league or IFAB level. But I mean, I was glad to see United get the win, stick it out. And I don't trust people on social media when it comes to broadcast. I
don't trust people in New Mexico United Nation.
I wouldn't trust New Mexico United Nation. I will say, and so I was doing my thing. I got no audio from Dennis after the match on Sunday. There's reasons for that. I got all of about 15 seconds with Dennis. Ken and I got about 15 seconds. And basically Dennis told us, the hard part about all of this, and he's dealt with weather, in the South and in other places. And the main thing is, you don't want guys to go in and sit down for 30 minutes or an hour and a half. You want to be able to keep them up and moving. So that was their goal, just to keep them from getting too tight, too cold. And then they did make a tactical switch for the final 8 minutes to go 5 at the back. And that was all I got time from Dennis. And that's what, like I said, I have no recordings. I have no audio. I apologize. My goal is to always have post-match pressers. I was not able to. So But yeah, here we are. 6 points in a week. We've got match against Phoenix on Sunday, final road match of the season. According to USL Championship, our magic number is now 4. I was doing some math, I guess technically. Realistically, it's 3 because we have the tiebreaker over Colorado Springs. We can clinch a playoff spot this weekend. If there are 2 scenarios. 1, we defeat Phoenix Rising. We're in. Point blank, no more questions about it. We are in if we defeat Phoenix. Or 2, if we draw with Phoenix and Colorado draws or loses to San Antonio and Oakland draws or loses at El Paso. Those are our 2 scenarios to get in. So we can clinch a playoff spot this weekend. Obviously, a win makes it very, very easy. Phoenix Rising, not in the greatest of form. If you follow Owen over on X, Phoenix's coach has had some interesting quotes of late. Out of Jacob, I don't know if you've seen those. Basically saying that his players are not football players. So Phoenix is on a 5-draw streak. 5 draws in their last 5 matches. United goes in. You have to think that we're favorited in this one. What do we have to do to get the job done on Saturday?
Well, Phoenix, all of those draws are very high scoring draws also. But they also are giving up a lot of goals. So we need to score a lot of goals and not let them score a lot of goals. Phoenix Diving in their home turf. Hopefully it's a situation where our squad, they seem to play. I feel like they do better when they're going into enemy territory. So hopefully that means that they will come with a lot of energy and a lot of drive, and hopefully the referee is up for the diving shenanigans and we score a lot of goals and Shakes has a really good game.
We're chanting they're not footballers, right? I would love that. That would be phenomenal. But yeah, speaking of goals, they've scored 10 goals in their last 5 matches. And they've drawn every single one of them. I mean, Jacob, who on Phoenix scares you at this point of the season?
I don't know that I've determined that the player to watch, whatever you want to call it, segment of things. Last year when I had my jinx going, it was nice. But this year it's kind of just been like, man, everybody has a lot of players that are good. And so to me, what it boils down to, like when we talk about the Lexington match a little bit and the lack of keeping the foot on the pedal, I look at that and say, well, okay, 1, we're up 2-0. 2, we go up a man. 3, it's our 3rd game in 8 days. 4, Lexington is desperate. 4, we just had a 2-hour delay leading up to the match. And then Lexington is desperate and is going to do whatever they can to get back in it. So were we up a man and looked like we weren't up a man? Yes. Would I've loved to have had a 4-0 win? Yes. At the bottom line, I'm excited we got the win. And I think we can just ride the little streak that we're on this month into October. Phoenix is very hit and miss. They like to go down. They like to go down big, and then somehow pull a rabbit out of their hat for a point. It's one of the only reasons why they're in the playoffs right now still. And so I'm going to give them all the credit for being able to do that. And honestly, I think they do it again. I'm not discrediting what we can do. I think we can go in there. I think we can go in there and get up 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we're up 3-0, one, Phoenix has proven that they can come back from that, and two, we haven't really proven that we can close out matches without freaking out, other than Detroit City. And so I'm just not sure there's a lead going into the final 15 minutes that I would feel safe with. I'd almost feel better if we were tied at that point of coming out with a win somehow, as dumb as that sounds. And so, and we don't tend to lock up playoff spots away from home. And that seems to be a home thing that we like to do. And so we might still lock it up because of other results, but I don't think we're going to get I'm not sure we get the 3 points and lock it up on the road in Phoenix necessarily.
I mean, I would rather they just get it done that way. Yeah. But, and to be fair, our away form hasn't been great at times, but you see us go on the road, beat Colorado. Now we've done pretty well in Colorado. Phoenix is one of the places we're not exactly great in Phoenix. We've done fine, but it's not something I would hang my hat on.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we have to play consistent, confident football. That's the big thing. And when you see us fall back into these stretches where we don't control the pace and the tempo, and we're not crisp in our passes, we get in really big trouble. But I think this is one, again, Phoenix is struggling despite the goals they're scoring. They really are. I think we can put some goals past them, put some pressure on them early, because again, like you said, they like to leave it late, and they like to play from behind for whatever reason and keep trying to put themselves in a position where they can do that. But yeah, I look at them. There's no really one player that they don't necessarily have, that I don't want to say, I want to say they don't have that dynamic forward like they've had in the past with some of these guys, with some of the other guys, Emil Cuello, probably the most dangerous guy, because he's beat us before, he's burned us before. I don't like him, but other than that, I mean, yeah, you could say Charlie Dennis. Dennis does a good job of controlling the midfield, who was, I think it was Bolte that said it, but yeah, it's a winnable match. I'll put it that way. And I think that, as long as we come out before, we can do it. We can pick up 3 points and lock up a playoff spot, come back home and do what we need to do to get a home match. Because I did the math. What I say on our group chat, the magic number for home is,
technically there's not a magic number because we're below Sacramento, but we would, if we get 12 points and they drop any points, then we would get it.
Yeah. So yeah, doing the math, I think I said 9 points from the final 4 matches.
You said 12.
No, to beat Sacramento. Yeah. The surpass.
Oh, home playoff.
Home playoff match is 9 points.
Yeah, 9.
So, but yeah, to take that 2 seed, we would need 12 points and help.
Yeah,
lots of help. So, I guess I'll go ahead and start unless you guys have anything else that you want to add to your preview of Phoenix other than fuck Phoenix.
Go ahead, Seth. And that's fuck with a PH, so yeah, we can say it. You can say it if it's with a PH.
We've got a ton of confidence right now, as long as we're committed to that and we stay consistent. I think we go on the road. I'm gonna say 2-0 because Phoenix likes to give up goals.
What say you, Christina?
I'm gonna say a hard fought 3-2 to the good guys.
Okay. Jacob.
Well, I did just predict two correct score lines in a row. last week. So I'm debating. Think I did just say that I didn't think we were going to clinch, but I'll never predict that. We know me, especially coming off of 6 points in a week, and having way better form than other times when I've predicted us to win against like the likes of Lou City, even though we were in terrible form. And so I will go out on a limb and say 4-3 United. And I was between that and 2-1 because 2-1's the cheat if you want to predict score lines, but
That's a lot of goals.
It is. And I do think with the way Phoenix likes to give them up, the way that we've been scoring them a little bit more lately than in the beginning of the year, and then the fact that I'm not convinced that we can put them away because they seem to be like cockroaches and never fully give up. I mean, I think they have like 3-3 draws and a 4-4 draw this year. We drew with them in USL Jägermeister Cup 3-3, and then they beat us in penalties. But they're definitely, I think there's goals aplenty in this game.
All right.
And for the record, had Christina not said 3-2, I would have said 3-2.
All righty. I was trying to do some research on this referee. It does not look like the center, because the referee assignments are already out. Does not look like the center has ever worked one of our matches. Most recently, this referee as Adahan Yaya worked Union 2 for Chicago Fire 2. Worked Lexington, North Carolina a couple weeks ago. And before that, Racing Louisville and Houston Dash. So this guy is, he works a little bit, second tier and lower. So I don't know how often he's centered, but 4 yellow cards, 3 yards, 4. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this guy does. But yeah, that's going to be a late one. Saturday night, 8:00 Mountain Time, by the way. So hopefully you guys are ready to stay up and watch that one.
I have friends coming into town for the Balloon Fiesta. I have like 5 friends flying from all over the country to come stay with me. So I might not get to watch the match live, but I'm going to try my best to not get spoiled.
See, that's why you just introduced them all to United.
Yeah. They want to go to the Balloon Glow Saturday night, so I'll be there.
It's a decent match to not be able to catch live, because had you missed the last 3 matches that we've had, you are screwed. So at least this one will be back on ESPN Plus, and you can go rewatch it right afterwards.
Selfishly, they were originally planning to come the following weekend, but we have a home match. And so I was like, no, you really should come for opening weekend.
Nice.
I was scheming a little bit there.
Good.
There you go.
One small bit of news that we didn't touch on. They touched on it in the chat. Zico did get called up for national duty.
Yep.
He will be playing the 9th and the 14th for the Philippines. So he will miss the match on the 11th against Orange County at home, the match that Christina was just alluding to. I imagine he will play for us in both the other matches. The one this weekend,
travel
obviously,
dependent,
yeah, based on travel and how much he plays in those 2 matches for the Philippines. I think we see a full 90 out of him, or like maybe not a full 90, 60 to 75 minutes out of him this week. And then give him a little break going into a match on the 11th for the Philippines. And then who knows what's going to happen next week or the following week when we play on Sunday, I believe, against Oakland. And so we'll have to see what happens there. Congrats to him, as always. He does get minutes for the Philippines, and they do put some results together. So it's not, it's really good for him to go get those minutes. And so little nervous about midfield depth. Jabang was not in the 18 on Saturday, which slightly concerns me because he's been kind of a stalwart in that midfield. Maybe it was just the fact that he played 2 full matches leading up to that. I'm not sure, but if he's gone and Bailey's gone, I will officially be nervous. But as long as Jabang's there, then I'll be all right. So just wanted to shout out, 1, shout out Zico, and 2, kind of let everybody watching and listening know, okay, this is what this guy. We've had this conversation about Bailey and how we look with him and how we look without him. So I know fans are going to be concerned. I think he does just miss 1 full match, and then we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Yep. Also, briefly, the Mexico Goatheads, new ECHL, I believe, hockey team up in Rio Rancho. They announced their official team name yesterday. So yeah, New Mexico Goatheads. Logo looks pretty decent. Can't really complain about that too much, but interesting name. I think it's better than the other names. So congrats to them. That'll be exciting to see how that goes. UNM beat State over the weekend. Lobos are 3-1 for the first time since 2007.
And
Yeah.
that stat right there is why I don't care.
Yep.
I will say, I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but the punter from Australia is fun to follow. And so I am kind of, sort of in on Lobo football, just barely.
Yeah. So no, they've been really good to watch. They were really fun. A couple big wins for them, obviously beating UCLA a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so they play this weekend, Friday night, San Jose State. As of yesterday, line opened. San Jose was favored by 2.5, which I think is atrocious. So yeah, that's Friday night, 8:00. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye out for more news about the Goatheads. Runners news we should be getting soonish, because their season's right around the corner. But yeah, I think that's just about it. You guys got anything else to close us out?
2 things. 1, Justin, I'm assuming the "so satanic" in quotation marks is from people commenting on social media, to which I will say, as a God-fearing man, Christians are so annoying sometimes with overreacting to stuff. And then also, Josh will appreciate this. 2 more goals by Sun Heung-min and 1 more from Denny Mwanga over the weekend for LAFC. So just a little LAFC news there. They have 17 goals in their last 5 matches, which is insane. And they're all by Son and Denny. And so, yeah, that is it. Nice. Yeah, I love it.
The goat does look a little satanic, but I mean,
He's a
I
little
like
sketchy.
it.
He has eyes. That was just him blinking. So
That looked better once his eyes opened.
yeah, for sure. But yeah,
Yeah, that was like bad. And then I saw another thing where I actually put like a picture of a goat head, like up beside the goat head. Yeah,
I do think that the Ice Wolves?
Ice Wolves. Yeah,
Their logo is way cooler.
100%.
yeah.
100%. The name I'm not really sold on, Ice Wolves.
Yeah.
But it ties in with the Lobos. The logo looks fantastic. So yeah, I get you.
Yep. Alrighty. Well, Jacob, you want to get us out of here then?
Yes, sir. Justin, Josh, Mute, Jane, Rosemary. I understand that that's her name.
Harry.
She's Mama Christina to me. Harry, Andrew. I don't think I said Andrew, which shame on me. Thank all y'all for being in the chat. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But thank you guys so much. If you're watching this live, be sure to drop a comment in there because it's always fun. Follow us on all of our social media. Subscribe on YouTube so you get some notifications there. You don't have to hit the bell. I don't care about that, but just subscribe on YouTube so we know that you like it and you're following. If you're listening on a podcast player, of your choice at a later date, be sure to rate and review us there. Christina and Seth, thank you guys so much. Sorry for my chaos that I introduce into the show every once in a while. I was literally in a meeting or on the phone from about 1 o'clock this afternoon until 8 o'clock. I walked out of a meeting and got right on. And so busy afternoon for me. That's also why there was no social media post. I apologize for that too. But you guys,
Shadow Wolf yell at him.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Shadow
for
Wolf's
sure.
going to be upset with you.
he knows at this point. He's just happy now when I do make one. That's all that is. But as Seth said, 8 o'clock Saturday night, New Mexico United travels to Phoenix Rising. If you're going to the match, which I'm sure a bunch of you are, kudos to you. Be loud, be proud. Definitely sing. What did he say? We're
About the
not footballers. Yeah. You guys chat too much. I can't find it now. But
Our guys play footballers.
Yeah,
They're not footballers.
They're not footballers. Definitely chant that in your little corner there. We'll be back next week, possibly if our predictions come true. Talking about playoff clinching spot, which frankly I don't care about. I know we're going to make the playoffs. I just want that. I want that 2 seed. I want Sacramento. I want to be that 2 seed. But nonetheless, I think we're going to have a home playoff game, guys. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'll knock on wood, but it's trending in that direction. And so let's keep getting these wins. Let's keep getting, if we get that 2 seed, we get guaranteed 2 home playoff games. So let's keep fighting. Let's get there. We're final 4 matches. Can't wait.
We need
guys.
12 points for the 2 seed.
12 plus Sac to drop. Sac plays tomorrow night. They play Orange County. They have a congested schedule because they are in the championship for the USL Jägermeister Cup. So they have a pretty congested schedule for the next month. And
they have back-to-back matches against Hartford.
Yeah, which is funny.
One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast.
So their schedule's a little wonky. So I think they're going to slip up a little bit. If we can capitalize on that, that'd be fantastic. Root for Orange County tomorrow, even though they're technically one of the ones that we need to lose, or we don't need to lose, but one of the ones chasing us to get. They don't play at noon. That's got to be a typo.
I saw that too. Scratching my head, like on a Wednesday at noon.
Well, there was a game last week at noon too. It was like a noon or 11 a.m. kickoff,
but not on a Wednesday.
Yes. Yeah, there was one last week.
Interesting. Anyways, it's El Paso, so I don't care. They're right there with Phoenix in 6th place, and
El Paso. El Paso's at noon tomorrow. Let me find the one from last week. But yeah, there was one last week too. I was like, what the hell? Like, why?
But as I was saying, thank you to everybody. We'll be back next week, hopefully talking about a playoff clinch, or hopefully talking about a playoff spot and previewing Orange County the week after.
Legion Tampa Bay 2 weeks ago. It was at a 10:30 a.m. Mountain kickoff
on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Oh, I do think I remember that now.
Yeah,
actually.
I was like, why is this on my phone? Like, why is it popping up?
Who knows?
Yeah. Patreon is coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Patreon. Stay tuned. We'll have more details. But thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week. Until then, somos unidos. Love y'all.